my fellow car modelers. I have just found an old unbuild of mine from many, many years ago, and which is a pretty important model. Check this out. This was amazing when I found it. And no, this is an old, beat up old box. Cool box, but it's not what's in there. The old AMT. These old boxes are... I've had this box for years somehow. Just worked out good, but what's in here, this blob of nightmare or whatever, is Luka Cee's first attempt at kit bash, scratch building, high detail, everything. This was my going from building nothing but box stock to jumping feet first and face first into the world of massive amounts of detail and customizing and scratch building. And, well, it was a fail, but it was a good attempt. I learned a lot from this. And I just wanted to show this to you because it is just, it's nuts. I was recently thinking about this model. You know, I keep everything. I'll never get rid of it. But I got some really good memories about this thing. But there's some strange stuff in here. I don't even know what. Now let me just dump all this out. Who the heck knows what's going on in here? But, well, we got a lot of things happening. Not sure what that's from. That's from an old AMT Chevelle. I even remember building that purple Chevelle. But, yeah, we were going crazy. Felix is here with me. We were going crazy on this thing. And this is just a crazy hot mess, I'll tell you. But a lot of firsts here for me. I would say I started this kit in 1997. I got a hold of a AMT Bigfoot. That's where the body came from. That I used for parts. I used the Bigfoot stuff, the monster truck stuff on something else. So I had the body laying around. This engine and some of this weird stuff came from the old crazy custom monogram kits, the Bad Medicine. And a lot of the rest of this is all scratch built. Not sure where that came. I think that came from the Bigfoot's frame. There's the Bigfoot's dash. Yeah, same plastic. So we had some crazy, and there's the floor for the Bigfoots. We had some crazy crap going on here. Look at that horrific chop job, but hey, that was my first attempt on a chop, and yeah, I don't know, you can't see where I cut, but I basically split this thing. The interesting story about this, when ahead to building this model, I lived across the street from this guy named Don, who was a big influence on me in you know, my early development of getting into cars, real cars, and doing stuff. And he had the greatest garage and hot rods and all kinds of stuff. And he was into 50s F-150 F-100s. He had this car, total fabricated Pro Street he was building, where he fabricated the frame of this old 53 Ford, and he was chopping the top. I basically was building this model mirroring what he did, although I did not have a 56 Ford F100 at the time kit. I went ahead and did this old Ford. But I chopped the top exactly the way he showed me. You know, I watched him chop the top on this old Pro Street he was building, and I watched him build his frame. This is like almost an exact replica of the frame he built in his driveway. He made his own jig and everything, and I was just fascinated by it. And this was just Plastistruct square tube. And I was really proud of this front piece where I put the round tubing right there and kind of shaped that round. My motor mounts. It's busted here now, but yeah, I was just using regular store-bought, you know, grocery store super glue. And this, you know, remember my video on making leaf springs? I went ahead and this was the model that I developed, that whole idea how to do leaf springs. And you can see the shackles that I have there, and I had this leaf springs figured out. I went in there like that, and so this was the first leaf spring I ever did. And yeah, that that's crazy. This is the engine out of the bad medicine. Look at that. I used like telephone wire, copper telephone wire to do my injection. And so MSE spark plug wire. Oh, geez, I even made my own return spring out of some copper wiring. That's all I had. I had just discovered MSC products. This is the first, there. MSC products, this is my first time ever using detail wire for making spark plugs. But you can see I had a, this looks like some sort of, not sure where that went. That was some sort of brace, but I think that was a part of the transmission. I think it went right here. It was part of holding the transmission in place. But yeah, this thing fit right in there. Like that.
You're watching the Luka Cee channel on YouTube.
Let's see. I don't know if I can mock this pile up, but I had it set to where I'm not even going to attempt to put this all together. It's just, this is an old archaeology dig here. But I had that frame fitting right into there. This thing was going to be low. I could chop that down. Yeah, this thing was going to be low. You can see how that was going to work out. It's pretty good for a kid who had no idea what the heck he was doing, just learning about customizing, you know, learning about cars, learning about working with all this kind of stuff. The bed, now this was kind of interesting, and I made my own tubs. The bed for this, again, I took, I was watching Don make the bed. He scratch built the bed for his 56 he was doing, and he literally did it this way. He made, you know, that curl, just took some tubing and had flat sheets that he made the bed with. And so I did that here. I thought, oh, that gives you that look. If I fill that in right there, it'll look like that curled look that trucks had, you know, step-side trucks. And then I needed rear fenders, obviously. And so these fenders, if you're familiar with the AMT 53 Ford, I had built that. So I had these in my parts bin. They were the only fenders I had. To do a custom 53 Ford out of the AMT kit, and I believe the versions that are even out today still have an extra set of Chevy customized with this custom tail light, Chevy rear fenders. And I kind of just sanded them down to shape them so they didn't look so much like a Chevy, more like just a custom fender. So I took the kind of the bulge that the Chevy fenders had right here. I just sanded it out. And you can see it used to be glued on there. And there was my bed. Get this out of here. There was my bed. And that's what we were going for. And we had this set up for, you know, big fat tires to go in there and drop down, man. It was going to happen. This is really an important model. No, I'm never going to build this. I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm never going to throw it out. I'm never going to give it away. What is important and what's cool about seeing, the putty I was using, I think, was Squadron Green. It was like my first putty I found to use. Terrible work I did. Hey, I was learning. That's what you do. You jump in and go for it. There might be a fail. Don't get upset and just move on. You learn. I've learned a ton from doing this. It never happened. Don't think it ever will. I really like this frame, though. Jeez, I'm very impressed by the frame. It was my first time doing anything like this. That hideous. Even look at. I was even playing with black wash. Holy cow! Look at it, black washed all that. But yeah, none of this will see the light of day in that regard. But this is just neat to look back at. Some of these things that I show you guys. This is the actual project that I developed or came up with a couple of ideas and some skills. I never did anything like this. This is the first. That's what makes this really cool and why I felt, this would be a great video. I think this will inspire some of you guys that are just starting out. You're wanting to get into doing some scratch building. You don't think, you just You just build them out of the box. I knew one particular guy, this other dude over there in Georgia, you know, the guy that doesn't know Ratfink. We had a talk. He says, I think I'm just gonna do out of the box stuff. He told me. And I says, yeah, no, you're not. And now look at him. Did you see that Oldsmobile he just did? Jeez. You know, your first one might not be a success, obviously. It might be an absolute disaster, but you learn from it. You can do it if it's something you want to do. If you don't, if you want to just build box stock, I'm not pushing nobody here. If you just want to do box stock, by all means, that's what makes you happy. But if you're building that box, just building box stock, you've only been maybe building models for a year or a couple years, and you want to make that leap, just do it. If it's absolute wreckage, don't worry about the money you spent on the model kits. I mean, there's 3 model kits and plus parts here, and extra. You know, I bought the Plastistruct. This is Plastistruct sheet plastic. That's evergreen tube right there. That all cost me money. It all cost me, yeah, this was parts box. This kit went into a couple of different builds, but it was a kit I bought for parts. Yeah, they were a lot cheaper back then, but I also didn't make a lot of money back then. I was living in somebody's garage, actually. Don't worry about that stuff. You got to jump in, do it. If it's a success, and a lot of guys, it's a success the first time. It might, you know, it won't be great, but it might be a success as far as you complete it. This was an absolute, there was just no way I was going to complete this, and I moved on and built many better things. So there's no need to go back to this. But it's just neat to see this pile here. I haven't looked at this in years. It's really bringing back some memories. It was a special time for me. Like I said, it was 1987. I was into other things too. Model car building was not my main thing. I was really heavy into music back then, playing in bands, trying to go that route, and I was always interested in cars, but it was like in the budding years of me actually starting to get involved with playing with cars and working on cars and getting interested and getting involved in racing and stuff like that. And yeah, this was the start of it right here, of one day wanting to, you know, build real race cars maybe or something. You know, it really goes hand in hand. It does. Fabrication's fabrication. A lot of stuff I learned in modeling and fabricating, I took it to some real builds and real car stuff. Just go for it, man. Just don't worry about whether it's a success or not, or if you can do it or you can't. We don't build blockbuster models right at the start. Not that I do. If you see some of the crap I build around here, I'm not talking Chucky's crap. I'm talking my crap. Just go for it. This was cool. I want to thank you all for watching. This was fun. This was a neat little walk down memory lane for me. I hope you enjoyed this. And you got to just remember, what you have to do around here is you got to keep gluing those fingers together and keep cutting that styrene. And we'll see you in the next video. Here's the producers.